Here for 2023 App State Softball Media Day, head coach Shelly Hoerner will begin with an opening statement, and then we will open the floor to questions.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Isn't it a great day to be a Mountaineer? We are 8 days away from our first game. We open up at Queens next week, and we couldn't be more excited. When I think about this team and this program right now, especially after the fall, I think of joy in the journey, trusting the process. That's what this team's done, and I've seen so much growth since the fall. Especially during our preseason. We've been in preseason for about 4 weeks now, and our leadership has really come throughout the entire team. Our culture is stronger than ever, and that is a testament to the leadership and our leadership groups. When we leave here as a graduate of App State, we want everyone to make sure that they have leadership skills to, go out in the real world. And just represent themselves in such a manner that how they represented themselves here. And I couldn't be more proud of this team. Like I said, the culture, the leadership groups really have just been a great thing for us. In the fall, we implemented these leadership groups, and I think it really helped. The leaders got everyone together. We have a performance leadership group. We have an energy, an organizational, a cultural one. And a servant leadership. And I think them taking ownership in the program and those specific leadership groups really helped establish the culture that was already being built here. Now, with that being said, obviously we, on the field we've got to perform, and I think it all correlates where you're good in the classroom, you're good on the field, you're good in the community, you're going to be a success in life. And I've really seen that, especially this preseason with this team. So we'll see next week in 8 days against Queens. And really we kick off there. We get to Presbyterian after Wilmington. We're basically on the road for the first 6 weeks of the season, and we're used to that. And it actually gives us a little more bonding as well. So I think that's pretty neat. But then we go to Tennessee. We also go to Middle Tennessee's tournament, and we open up home against North Carolina. And then the next week we've got Virginia Tech. So we're using the preseason to really prepare us for the strong Sun Belt. Obviously, this Sun Belt has some new teams, JMU, Marshall, and Southern Miss. And they've all been very quality teams, JMU going to the World Series a couple years ago. So we've got to really use this preseason as preparation for a strong Sun Belt. And I think it's important for us to work through some kinks in the beginning. Just getting outside in the dirt's going to be great for us. But I also, think what we've done in this preseason, just in the SO field, and we're very fortunate to have an indoor that we can use daily. I think what we've done has really prepared us, and we are stronger than ever. For this is my 6th season, and I think our hitting, our pitching, and our defense is better than ever. And that's really exciting for me, but it's a testament to the players that they invested in the off season to really hone in on their individual skills, which is helping obviously the team. So going through our roster, we've got our pitchers I'll start with, and it's a staff mentality. We have wanted to implement that for the past few years. The hitting, yet in the Sun Belt and across the country, has just gotten stronger, and I think it's important for our pitchers to have a staff mentality. And we've got Delaney Buckner, who returns. She was our ace last year and has just bought in and is so coachable that she has just gotten better every year. Again, a testament to Coach Nat for really changing a few things on her, but her investing in what the changes have been made. Sejal Neese started as a reliever last year, and she has become a starter. She became a starter last year as well at the end after having a knee injury, but I look forward to her having a really good year. She came out strong in the fall as well, and so I look forward to that. KK Northrup is a transfer last year from UNLV. Has just made a lot of changes as well. Her ball is moving a ton, probably the most on the team or the pitching staff. And so again, we have different pitchers that are going to be able to come in and out because they have that mentality. They're very close-knit, which is kind of, actually, it's cool that I love to see their bond. And, of course, everybody as a pitcher wants the ball. But they know, because of the strength of our conference and our opponents, because there's so much parity, that whoever gets the ball, they're excited for. We also have a graduate transfer in Capri Toon. She's from Utah State, is a grad transfer, and she's going to come in. She moves the ball really well as well, so it's just going to be a good mix. 2 freshmen, Alana Hopkins, who had a fantastic fall for us with a 0 ERA. She's going to relieve a lot of games for us, and Lily Runyas as well. Going to our catchers, we lost, obviously, our fifth-year senior last year, Bailey Morton, who caught every single game for 5 years. We've got Kylie LaRosa, who is a returner, who saw a little bit of time last year, but has really elevated her game behind the plate, and her rapport with the pitchers is really good this year. We've got a grad transfer in Keely Coltrane, who will also catch for us. She's a transfer from Marist, has done a nice job with the pitching staff as well, and has a lot of power at the plate. So we're looking for those two to really anchor our catching staff. Going around to the outfield, we've got all of our outfielders returning. And our 3 starters from last year really led the team, 3 of the top hitters on the team. So I think that's really going to help us with just the consistency in the outfield. But again, we have depth in the outfield as well with Abby Cunningham and Claire Carson. But they've done a nice job. Again, we've got Kate Houston in right field, who is a preseason all-conference pick for us, who has so much power. You wouldn't even know the talent she has because of how she carries herself. She carries herself well, but she's so humble. Mary Pierce is in center field, a 5th-year senior, who just gets the job done. She'll be up here in a little bit. She's a really cool person, and I'm so glad she took her 5th year with us. Emily Parrott in left field has been a transition from the infield, and we love that utility in her, but has bought into that outfield position that, being so athletic, she can do so many things. She runs the bases so well. Her IQ is so high. So we've just got a lot of talent in that outfield. Going into the infield, we've got Addie Ray, who's going to anchor us at shortstop. She brings the energy every single day. It's fun to be around. And I used that word joy before. It's a joy to be around her every single day. So we've got Taylor Thorpe at third base, who has kind of transitioned from a couple different positions, third base, catching, first base. But she is a 5th-year junior for us and has just done a great job. She trains probably harder than anybody in our program. Just coming back from some injuries, she had to do that, and she takes this game so seriously and has really been just a role model for a lot of players in our program. Going around to first base, we've got a transfer from last year, Mackenzie McCullum, who had great power, great success at the plate for us, and is, again, using her 5th year. So, again, we're really excited with the experience that we have in the infield and the outfield. Going to second base, we've got Sid Martin, who didn't see a lot of time last year due to some injuries. She's back. Her fundamentals defensively have been great from this fall and spring. Hannah Forbes is another one in the middle infield that just has some raw talent. Is a freshman that will definitely see time. We've also got Kaylee Kardash in the infield, who I look really forward to seeing her bat. She's got some great power and, is a great third baseman as well. So we'll look to see, again, depth in the infield as well. So we are really just looking forward to getting out there, this next week. Next week is going to be Great and Boone here, so we'll be able to get out there, get on the dirt, scrimmage a little bit, and just see what we've got next week at Queens.
Coach, you talk about the experience of this group, 4 5th-year seniors. How do they set the tone both on the field and from that chemistry perspective?
I believe the entire team is just so bonded. I've never seen, since I've been here, the team hasn't been as bonded as it is. And I just think their belief in each other, they love each other. Every single day, they're just having fun. And obviously, we are here to win. But if you don't love what you're doing, you're probably not going to be successful. And I think that they've bonded off the field, and I think their trust in each other helps when they come on the field. So we talk a lot about if you're not having your best day, the person next to you is going to pick you up. And I have truly seen that. In fact, the other day at practice, so Claire Carson made an outstanding catch in the outfield. And, everyone thinks, those are routine plays, and that's just the expectation. Yeah, the expectation is to do great things. But when you really see an outstanding catch, I think it's really important that your teammates are there for you because you can't do it alone. Our pitchers can't do it alone. Our hitters can't do it alone. We've got to do it as a team, and we have a motto, Together Team, and we stand by that. And I love that they love on each other and trust in each other and believe in each other.
You talked a little bit about the schedule, but what does it mean to have programs like North Carolina and Virginia Tech coming up the mountain to Boone, and how do those games and the rigors of starting out on the road the way you are prepare you for such a tough Sun Belt conference?
Well, I think it's important to play the top competition that we can. We've got to figure out from a lineup standpoint, what we can do defensively, what we can do hitting-wise, what we need to work on. I think it's important that we see that top pitching because the pitching in the Sun Belt is very good, but it's very important. And it's exciting to have those programs, want to come to Boone and play us here in our home park. So, but it's important just overall just to see that level of competition so then when it comes to postseason that we're prepared for it.
You talked about the lineup. You returned your top 5 hitters from a season ago. I would imagine there's not a whole lot you have to figure out in terms of at least the top 5 in the order. What luxury is it for you as a coach to, have so many key returners as part of that starting lineup?
I think experience is always huge. And experience, I believe, does win out on some things. You can have talent, but when you come in as a freshman, it's hard because the game is so much faster than what you're used to. And I think the experience and these young women can tell you the same thing, is that when they were freshmen, they are completely different players now that they're juniors, seniors. And the experience does win out, in my opinion, just because they've seen the level of play. But it's great because I think now they're able to just do things without me saying, hey, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. They know the expectation of the program, what I want, and they've just kind of run with it. And I think that's where those leadership groups have even come in more to play this year because they've taken ownership more than I've ever seen, and I love that. Love it.
You talk about replacing Bailey Morton behind the plate. Certainly there's replacing her production, but what impressed me most watching her was the communication with her teammates situationally, even beyond the pitching staff, just organizing everyone defensively. Is that something that you can teach, or does that just come through playing in terms of replacing someone like that on the field?
I think the more you play, and especially as a catcher, the more reps you get, the better you become. And yes, Bailey communicated well on the field, communicated funny off the field. But, I think we are in a very good position. I believe our catchers, because there's competition amongst the catching staff, that they've continued to get better every day. Our pop times are better than they ever have been. They're just investing. Like I said, with our pitching staff, we've got a lot of movement on our pitching staff, and it's hard to catch some of them. But they work on that every single day in the bullpen. They want to learn, they want to get better, and just the reps that they get in a full field situation, I think, is really important. So there's some teachable things, but also I think it's just innate when you're just out on the field, with your teammates that catchers are mostly born leaders. So they can dictate of how the field goes, and because they see everything. So I think, the natural part of leading is really important behind the plate.
You talk about that staff philosophy on the pitching side of things. What dictates how you use your pitching staff this season? Is it matchup based? Is it situational? And how do you go about finding innings for everyone?
Well, it's definitely both situational and matchups. Obviously, we do a lot of scouting, so it's all going to depend on, who we do see, what kind of hitters they are, whether they can, we've got a lot of off-speed stuff that we have on our staff, so, and then we've got some people throwing hard. And what's the best matchup? And honestly, it's not about getting equal playing time, it's whatever is best for the team. So having 6 on a pitching staff, yeah, it's a lot. And that's where I said Coach Nat has done a great job of just managing them thus far. But in reality, when games start next week, it's who's the best matchup and who's the best at that point for the team. And if someone's not on right away, we've got a relief pitcher ready to go, and then a second relief. And I think they understand that because that's kind of been ingrained in them, especially over the past couple of years. And then this year, they've bought into that. So it's whatever is going to win. If it's one batter that someone has to come in for to get that last out to win that game, that's all that matters.
Last one for me, just big picture. You guys have 4 consecutive winning seasons. You talk about the returners. What in your mind is the key or keys to taking that next step this year?
I think it's being consistent, not getting too high or too low. It's a game of failure, so we've got to make sure that we are staying within ourselves and also playing our game and not getting too ahead of ourselves, because if we do that, then, we're not focusing pitch by pitch. If we're looking, the ultimate goal is obviously postseason, but if we're looking at that every day, that it's postseason, we're not going to be in the moment in that game. We have another motto this year, step by step, and we've got to do it with every player. It's one step at a time, so we've got to win the inning. And, we can't think too much ahead of that inning.
Coach, you talked about the chemistry of the team and the talent level that's just, grown each year. Mm-hmm. Now that you're 5+ years into it, what do you see from a recruiting standpoint that works for App State? What do you look for in a recruit, whether that's their talent level or the type of person that you're bringing in?
Sure. We obviously look for talent, but that's not the end-all be-all with us. We want good people. It's a family environment here. The character, I can't say enough about our team's character, the way they represent themselves, and that is critical in the recruiting process. We want players, one, that want to be in Boone. This is a different place. This is an amazing place, but you've got to want to come here and want to continue to elevate this program. If you're not willing to grit and grind, and that's a non-negotiable as well of work ethic. Everyone should be working hard. So it's not, your playing time's not going to be determined just on your work ethic. You still have to produce. That's a non-negotiable. So I think finding those players that really want to be here and invest in the program and believe in what our coaching staff is doing, but also just being a good person and being a good teammate. That's key. And in fact, when we've got recruits on campus or we've got camps, our players are going to be honest with us of, hey, this person may fit, this person may not fit. And I take a lot into account of that because they're the ones that see everything. We see a lot as coaches, but we don't see it all. So if they're doing things behind the scenes that don't align with our values, that's not going to fit here.
Last one for me. I know this is a preseason press conference for this season, but what excites you about the future of App State softball when you think about facilities that will come on board in the next few years and just kind of where this program is headed?
It's exciting. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a Mountaineer in all of App State athletics. I think our teams, our coaches are doing an amazing job. We're doing a lot of things on campus with the facilities we're looking forward to, our new field being built in the near future, along with obviously other facilities being built. I think that only enhances, especially all around the country, softball facilities specifically are spending a lot of money and putting a lot of money into not only softball, but women's athletics, and which is amazing for these young women. You know, to be able to put the amount of money, the amount of support into these young women, they deserve it. And I think that by doing that, that's only going to enhance our recruiting, because in reality, you know, players want to come to places that have, you know, have the bells and whistles. However, in our program, it's not just about the bells and whistles. And I think each person on our team knows that. They want to be here because in the young women that are here now, they bought into our vision when we were not very good. And that's a testament to them for buying into that of, you know, again, they're buying into, hey, we're getting a facility in the near future. That's not here now. And they bought into that because they want to be a part of App State softball. And that's how we want to recruit student athletes, because they care about the nitty-gritty stuff. They want to be together. They want to win championships. They want to be good people. They want to excel in the classroom. They're looking at the future of what is their future. You know, as a young adult in the working world, you know, being a wife, being a mother, all those kind of things that they want to do in the future, they know that this program can provide guidance for them for when they do graduate from App State.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.